How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. I am here with
Thermites.
my fiance Thermite. I see South Park 20-something.
I'm watching it blinds.
This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights supporting channel. You better be supporting that shit too. If you ain't, get the fuck out of here. This is Season 5, Episode 6, Cartmanland.
Oh boy.
Predictions. By the way, you did almost exactly predict last episode.
Wait, what?
Last episode, Terrence fell behind the blow. We didn't talk about it, but your prediction for the episode was the first time where you have almost exactly predicted the episode.
I mean, I've watched a lot of VH1.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those parody titles, so I think it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Not to take away your achievement.
But, okay, so 2 for 2. Cartmanland is about Cartman making an amusement park called Cartmanland.
I mean, what more can you guess?
The quality of this park is really the big difference, because I could see it being either like a literal, when they made the treehouse, where it's hot trash.
Yeah. They still have the treehouse.
They do. It's still hot trash.
It's still hot trash.
Or alternatively, it could be ridiculously high quality, because his mom will buy anything for him, so he could just say, "Mom, I want an amusement park," and she would buy one for him.
Okay, so what's your actual final prediction?
I feel like I'm gonna go with it is like an actual amusement park called Cartmanland for some reason. I don't think I'll settle on his mom buys it for him.
You gotta settle on something. How does this amusement park be?
I like the idea too much. So okay, his mom buys him an amusement park, and then he says, "I'm going to make this Cartmanland."
Okay. If you want to see the full length, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. What would you rate the episode?
Give it a 8 out of 10.
I will give it a 9 because I again really like the episodes that have just one A plot all the way through. Like, I guess we kind of cut between the two, but
it was definitely A-plot B-plots.
Not as much as most of the other. Like, it was so the hemorrhoid thing was entirely impacted by the Cartmanland aspect of it. They were one and the same.
Okay.
So yeah, I really. But would I give it an 8 or a 9? Because I've also there's plenty of 9 episodes that I think might be better than this, but then there's also many episodes that give it an 8 that I think are worse than this. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I need to stop. I give a little bit too much. I rate stuff too highly.
Sure.
I gotta back down a little bit. I want it to be more impactful when I give something a really high, marking.
Sure.
I mean, we're on season 5. We've already given out like 6 10 out of 10s.
I mean, it's a long show.
Yeah, it's a long show, but still, it's the idea of like we've already given out an 11 out of 10, and we're 5 seasons in. But yeah, I absolutely I didn't really remember much about I actually kind of forgot about the hemorrhoid stuff this episode. It's been a long time since I've seen this episode. I just kind of remember like, oh yeah, Cartman gets a amusement park, then he has to keep hiring people, and it all goes bad. But yeah, I also on a rewatch, I've been liking Kyle so much more than when I used to watch the show as a kid. I also feel like I relate so much more to Kyle than I do like Stan now.
Okay.
Which is interesting, because, I feel like I related more with, or actually, I would say the character of the boys that I relate the most to is Kenny.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Huh.
But, I mean, mainly just with the poor aspect of it.
Sure.
But, I would say my relatability is Kenny, Kyle, Stan, Cartman.
Okay.
Cartman Cartman has a lot of the, like the funeral type stuff. Super heavily relatable, but then there's also so much of Cartman that isn't.
Right.
I cannot relate to killing somebody's parents and feeding them chili.
Right.
But yeah, Kyle's like sudden snaps of just going on some long rant. Very relatable, and I really love that aspect of his character. What you want to talk about the episode?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, funeral, very relatable.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I might have talked about this already on South Park, I can't remember, but where I went to a funeral and I was crying and somebody came up to me and they were like, oh, it's gonna be okay, you're so young and you're crying, and I was like, no, the character died in the book I was reading. And it was, I look back on it now as like the most cringy, I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember what their relation was to the person who was dead, who was, I think, like great-great-grandfather or something, because the men in my family live to be like hundreds of years old. It's wild. My great-grandfather right now is 101, I believe.
Wow.
But anyway, I don't know what relationship. I just remember saying specifically, no, I'm not crying because of the funeral. I'm crying because this character died in this book that I was reading. I believe it was Cell by Stephen King, the horror book about cell phones turning you evil. That's what made me cry at the funeral for my great-great-grandfather.
I thought you were going to say Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
That would have been real weird. I'm sorry, no, I'm crying because Cell died. Anyway, but yeah, I definitely do relate to the, just all the funerals I've been to where it's just like, it goes on so long, and it's like, dude, I'm a kid. I don't fucking know this person.
Right.
Even if it's like, I might have, gone over to like a holiday thing with him or whatever, but don't bring your kids to funerals.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's only gonna make it harder for the other people. Like, you don't want to be at a funeral where you're really sad about somebody dying and some kid's like, no, I don't give a shit about that. I'm sad because this fucking kid in this cell phone horror book, I can't even say manga, died. But yeah, I mean, like, you don't want that. You don't want some kid, making you, like, break your heart by how much they don't care. So just,
Yeah, and I haven't yet in my life got to a point where I want kids to be at a funeral that I'm attending.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, it sucked because, it's so long and I don't really have a connection here. And then as I've gotten older, it's been more of a, like, okay, these kids are here, and boy, I wish they weren't.
Yeah. Honestly, not a funeral person in general. I don't like going to funerals. I don't like the whole everything around it. Like, I don't know. It feels too. I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't like the wasteful aspect of it, and it's also like, it feels almost disrespectful in how much money is spent on it and everything like that. Especially when so many people say specifically they don't want it, and then people do it anyway.
Right.
And so yeah, like that's always like a weird aspect to me of it. But in general, yeah, I just. When it comes to like mourning or that, I would much rather do it in a like home setting where everybody gets to get like the after funeral thing. I think is the more important thing.
Okay.
What's the wake? Is that what
the wake?
But yeah, I think that's more important than the funeral itself. Like,
okay.
The funeral itself is more of a giving money to whatever religion that person was from. Like that's really what it is. I mean, it's just kind of like furthering the religion economy.
I guess.
That's what it feels like to me.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't gone to your funerals.
Yeah.
Like every time I've gone to a funeral, it's always been we're collecting money for for the spouse or whatever because it's no longer it's no longer a 2-income household.
No, I mean, most funerals I'm aware of is like the aftermath of the person being like, I spent so much money on this funeral and now we're struggling. And I've had many members of my family have to like move in with other members of the family because they're like, well, I spent too much on the funeral.
Right.
Yeah, and it's having more. That's how we got one of our houses actually.
Oh, yeah?
My like rich grandmother, she had to sell the house because of a funeral, and she sold it to us for cheaper. But yeah, so I mean, she didn't sell the house. She rented it out to us for cheaper, I should say.
Okay.
But yeah, so not a fan of that sort of stuff in general.
All right.
But moving away from the funerals, have you ever had hemorrhoids?
Thankfully no.
Oh boy, I have. I mean, I have had hemorrhoids. And boy, yeah, not fun. Not a fun time. Super painful. I mean, mine went away relatively quickly.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's the fucking worst. It's the whole like you have to sitting on that like donut thing. And, But the way the hemorrhoids worked in this was like the hemorrhoids are going up to your lungs. An old hemorrhoid monster. I do like that though, because like hemorrhoids are something that I feel like nobody really understands, and I didn't really even understand them until I got them.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, it is just like I assumed, but it is like okay, yeah, it's just like a painful bump on your butt, on the inside of your butt. But yeah, I've never had it. Like, I know some people where it's like you can get it to where, yeah, if you have to go to the bathroom, it's gonna hurt. I never had that, thank God.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'd say my pooping has been pretty good, all things considered. Never enough to stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a butt crack issue. I have a, like, I don't remember what it's called, but I don't know. But it is where, like, the top of my butt crack is, like, fused together a little bit, and so that has problems with that. But that means that it's not inside; it's an outer hemorrhoid. It is different, I guess, than what Kyle had. It is an outer hemorrhoid, and it's not much of a problem because it's higher up, so I don't have to like sit on it or anything. And it's only happened to me like twice in my life. Thank God. I'm 25 and it's happening twice in my life. Probably gonna happen again, but you know, it lasts like 2 or 3 days. It's not much of a problem for me. So I only know a sliver of how bad hemorrhoids are.
Right. Thankfully.
Yeah. But yeah. What else? Is there anything to say about the Kyle aspect of it? Like, the Job story. How do you feel about that? I feel the Job story has influenced a lot of my youth and how I viewed Christianity.
Okay.
Because that was also used. Like, people use that, you know, or just, you know, used, you know, verses or whatever to try and defend it for a long time to me, and I you know, didn't have a defense for so long, but the more I actually, like, learned about Christianity, and the more I learned about, like, the Bible in general, I would say, I realized just how fucked up it is.
Yeah. Like, it cheapens life to say that you can lose your wives and your kids, and then it's okay, though, because you get them all back afterwards. But you don't get them back. You get different wives and different kids.
Yeah. It was so hard for me to argue against Christianity when it's so pick and choosy.
Right.
Rather than, like, you know, actually what the Bible is and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really try and read any verse, it's just awful.
It's also just weird as a thing in the Bible. Like, the Bible is, you know, compiled from a bunch of different sources, but Job by itself is so, like Aesop-y almost. Like, it is so much more of a fable than a lot of other things, which try to be more historical.
Yeah.
Whereas Job is just like, you know, God and Satan, who don't really talk a lot. Satan's not really a character in the Bible very much, you know, a little bit, but it's also very, you know, general as to, like, is this a person, or is this a devil, or is this just some guy?
Sure, yeah.
This is Job is one of the only times in the Bible where we have, like, you know, the great challenger who talks to God directly and is like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with these people.
That and the Cain and Abel story, that's the two brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is also, you know, extremely weird. Those are, like, the two most prevalent examples, I think, that people use as well, and it's wild that they're used that often because they're insane.
Yeah. I mean, I guess also Abraham killing Isaac.
You say that and I've heard it, but I actually don't know. It doesn't expand.
So God tells Abraham to take his son Isaac, bind him, and then sacrifice him. Like in the same way you would sacrifice an animal.
Okay, I'm not thinking of Cain and Abel then. I don't remember what Cain and Abel is. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay. No, definitely not Cain and Abel.
What is Cain and Abel?
Cain and Abel is the two sons of Adam and Eve who, they both sacrifice things to God. And Cain's sacrifice is not accepted by God, so Abel gets all the blessings, Cain doesn't, and then Cain kills Abel.
Okay.
He commits the first murder.
Okay, yeah. I don't have anything to say about that then. Indifferent towards that one.
Okay. I thought you were going somewhere with that one specifically.
No, I meant the Abraham and Isaac thing.
Yeah.
There's too much of it to keep track of, man. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I feel like every kid has fantasized about the wanting to be, not necessarily owning an amusement park where you're the only one in it. That's very specific.
Sure.
But what if I was the only one in an amusement park?
Yeah.
Like, or just, you know, what if I didn't have to wait in these lines? Blah, blah, blah. I think more specifically, what if me and my friends could just, you know, be in this amusement park by ourselves?
Yeah.
Like what if we could go into the amusement park after dark?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so someone who has gone to Disney World like 18 times from my rich grandmother, I love this episode. I love theme park stuff in general, and just I love Cartman. You know, having this very specific dream, realizing it, being so happy, being built up, and then losing everything.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's such a... We have now completed this arc that we have started with the Tooth Fairy Tats.
It's so weirdly satisfying.
Yeah, but it's such a long, they've done the season-long arcs, but man, this is a real season 0.5 or 0.6.
Yeah.
It's like a season and 6 episodes.
It's also very satisfying that, like, the core focus of I want to have my own amusement park that only I'm in is not the thing that falls apart on him. Like, it is just some of the realism of having to run an amusement park.
Yeah.
But, like, the core thing,
like
he never gets tired of the idea of being in an amusement park alone.
Yeah, that
really
would be the
appreciate
classic trope, right?
Yeah.
But, I'm glad that they went the more, like, Cartman is an idiot and doesn't know how anything works.
Yeah.
Like, you need the people and everything. And I do love that it's just, like, 2 people in this park. 2 people coming to this park a day can pay for 1 person's salary.
I mean, yeah, because it is $30 for each of them, or $29.99.
Yeah.
So that's $60. $60 a day is, I mean, like, how much is that? It's like $8 an hour.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, this is also 2001.
Yeah, I know. Which would not have been $8 an hour at this point.
Definitely
Would
would
it
have been.
have?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, in the U.S., $8 an hour, I think, was minimum wage.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm an idiot. I was thinking it was more, but yeah, I forgot how fucked up we are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how much I got paid, and I'm like, oh no, that's right. I wasn't getting paid minimum wage. I bribed, or I blackmailed them. They came to me and said, we want you to be assistant manager. And I said, I do not want to be assistant manager. And they said, how much money can we get for you to be assistant manager? And I said, $15 an hour. And then I super underballed it because they were like, oh yeah, thank God. Okay, sure. And I was like, oh fuck, I should have said like 50 and just worked my way down.
Now, that isn't blackmail,
I know,
nor
I
is
know.
it a bribe.
No, I was just joking.
That is being a man, which is also very
I
rough.
mean, not really. Anybody else, they would say, we're going to make you assistant manager and we're going to pay you the exact same amount. I know because it happened to other people.
Ah, I see.
But they didn't want a woman to be the assistant manager, so they came to me.
I see.
And I keep saying bribe me, but I mean, it's kind of what it was.
I mean, I feel like that is just being a man, being given a position, and then going, no, I want more money, as opposed to, thank you for giving me this extra position that I can't refuse because my children will die if I refuse this.
I don't know.
I feel like I've heard this quite a bit from my other friends who have more steady jobs. Like, it is the classic, if you're a guy, you might, actually push and say, I want money for my labor.
But I didn't. I just said no.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, we'll give you any amount of money.
I mean, again, that's tactic. That is literally exactly what happens in the episode. It is no.
I guess, but it wasn't an intended tactic. I wasn't standing up for myself.
Neither was Cartman.
If I was standing up for myself, I would say, no, I want $15 and I want to stay at my current position.
I don't think that's how the negotiation would have worked if they wanted to say, please, we need an assistant manager, and your answer was no.
I mean, actually, to be fair, I did specifically later at that job say, I don't want to be assistant manager anymore. I will take less money. I don't care. I just don't want to be assistant manager anymore. And they said, we can just pay you the same amount. And I said, good enough for me.
You're very Cartman-esque in your negotiations.
I am. I don't care. I didn't care. I was working the job to have money at all, but it's like, if I could, take a longer lunch where I wouldn't be getting paid just so I could be taking a longer lunch, I'd be doing that. I mean, I did do that. There's so much shit I did. Like, I would, try and get the shortest amount of schedules and shortest amount of hours and everything. Even when I was full-time, I was like, can you, make me just barely full-time? I really don't want to be full-time, but I have to be full-time to be assistant manager. And that's why I left being assistant manager, because I was like, actually, I would just like less money, please. I know I'm struggling so much and in a lot of debt, but I would like less money, because I don't want to work for it.
Oh, boy.
But, yeah, so... I don't think that is sticking up for myself.
No.
What else do we have to say about this episode? We went off on a long tangent. I did like that they talked about like the Cartman strategy for other businesses, because that is what so much. I mean, that is what restaurants do. To like, oh, sorry, we're fully booked, and it's like, well, you have 10 open tables. Well, yes, but those 10 open tables are for if some random celebrity comes along and we want to give them a table, or someone with a lot of money comes along and we want to give them the table.
Yeah.
And things like that with the as you were talking about with Supreme and things like that.
Like for my entire life, I've been fascinated with scarcity pricing.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, well, I'm not wearing it. If I was gonna say, Make 64 does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they 100% know what they're doing. If we just put out a little bit, then people are going to buy it up immediately. We can go, oh, sorry guys, we didn't know. I know literally every single year we have ever done this, we have sold out. But guys, we didn't think we were gonna sell it again. We increased it by 10 shirts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely hate that practice, and I hope those people die.
I refuse. I love it. I wish everything worked under scarcity pricing.
Why?
Because I don't want shirts to exist if people are not buying them. I do not want shirts in a store.
Okay, well then why don't you do the thing where if you order a shirt, they print that shirt? There's so many people that do that. I'm talking specifically about Mega 64 right now, because you use the shirt example. But like, that's always my thing. Why the Mega 64 could so easily do a thing where they just, if you order a shirt, we will print that shirt. So many businesses do that.
I mean, I also do like the inherent value of scarcity, of a shirt not always existing.
Why?
Because it means that if you have the shirt, you can flex on other people and say, I have the shirts.
Who cares?
I do.
You're fucking weird.
I have so many shirts that no one else has.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, it's very Cartman. It's very, I'm better than you.
Nah, a lot of people have more shirts that I don't own. Arguably, most people in the world have shirts I don't own. I'm fine with that. I like it.
Sure.
Please, 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 I need that trivia, because there are definitely some references in this that I did not get.
Okay.
I mean, at the very least, there was some Dr. Seuss.
Well, sure, yeah. It was Dr. Seuss, obviously. And that felt more like it was Dr. Seuss, but it also felt very, I guess it kind of felt like the opening monologue of like Dr. Seuss, but specifically like the one about environmentalism. What is that one? Larynx.
Oh, Lorax?
Lorax. It felt very Lorax, a bit.
Okay.
They do say, by the way, this episode is another example of how they tried to make an episode that consisted only of an A-plot with no subplot.
I mean, they failed.
What was the subplot? Because the Kyle thing's not a subplot. That is still the plot.
I'd say that's a subplot.
It's not. How is it a sub?
Because we cut between like everything happening at the park and the hospital.
But it is.
And
it is.
They had two separate casts up until the end when they merge.
But it's so like one-to-one, like with how it interacts.
I mean, part of this is also inherent bias because I see them as so separate because I also didn't really care for a lot of the Kyle plots. Like, okay. I like Kyle as a character there, and I do think, like, the general thrust of it was fine. But, like, the Job story was 2 minutes long, and it was literally just the Job story.
Yeah, I like that, though. Like, I really like the Kyle aspects of this part. I think they were some of the parts where I laughed the hardest. Like, the Cartman stuff is very funny on a conceptual level, but I think the Kyle stuff is very funny as, like, just making me belly laugh as it was happening.
I think I liked the Kyle plot line until he went to the hospital.
Okay, that's when I started like. I don't even. Yeah, I'm not sure what I liked about the Kyle plot line pre-hospital. What did you like about the Kyle plot line pre-hospital?
Just like him going on the big rant at the synagogue about how there cannot possibly be a god if Cartman manages to have $1 million in an amusement park.
Okay, sure, yeah. I thought the hospital rant of that I preferred, but. They did say that they almost didn't make this episode because they thought there wasn't enough story and it was too basic and easy. They also thought that Cartman inheriting $1 million and buying a theme park was cliche. Is that cliche? Have you seen it in anything else?
I mean, I've definitely seen the kid inherits a ton of money and then, like, buys an amusement park or buys big thing.
I've seen it with other stuff. I haven't actually seen it with an amusement park. Like, what other stuff has? Because I would actually be very interested to watch something like that.
Boy, I mean, I can't think of anything at the moment.
If you can think of anything while I'm going,
Yeah.
let me know.
But I remember it being one of those things where, like, I would watch, just cartoons after school, and I'd see definitely that plot a bunch of times.
I can think more of the, like, children doing an amusement park sort of thing, like a Phineas and Ferb sort of situation or whatever. But or maybe Codename Kids Next Door probably did something like that. But not like where they inherit money and buy, or not even inherit money, but where they buy a amusement park.
Yeah.
But if that is a cliche, I would be interested to see some stuff of that like that, because that is actually, I would like to see something that like does that straight.
Sure.
Like, but yeah, I don't know if they would actually do it straight or if it's all this kind of joke. Now, they said as long as you have the basic, easy cliche thing as the overall thing, then you can get into scenes and have a lot of fun with scenes and get original in there. And boy, that quote is so Trey Parker speaking. It's so just using the same words over and over again.
Yeah.
Very me as well. But do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
I'd say I agree with that. Like, it's the reason why on my channel I've been reading a lot of unbelievably cliche things that make me want to tear my hair out.
Yeah.
But I still give them like 3 chapters or so, because like the bare bones, like I've seen a fair few series that feel like they're just like, oh, I've seen this 50,000 times, but then you dig in a tiny bit and then all the cool stuff is there.
Yeah.
Like, I think there is some value to just picking out a frame and going like, I have really cool ideas, but I need something to put these ideas on, and so I'll choose this, this outline and then fill it in.
I think there is something to that, but it's always going to be lower on my list than anything else.
Okay.
We have talked about it plenty with the episodes where they try and parody something else. And this wasn't quite that, but like they're talking about it here as like the cliche sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of that sort of thing. Where it is like we're doing a parody of this thing, and we're doing our own original stuff in it, but it is a parody of this thing, because, I don't know, I just feel like it then, a lot of the jokes then end up just being about that, even though you said they weren't going to be about that. And I think this episode did a good job of not doing that.
I mean, I think there is a stark difference between like an episode that is outright, like, you should have seen the thing this is based on before, and then there's a lot of callbacks to that specifically, versus an episode that is like, I've seen a lot with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where some parody episodes about that are literally just like, it's the movie but shrunk down. Yeah. And then there are a lot that are just like, we're taking the general idea of like, or just like a factory that you're taking a tour through.
Yeah, I think that is the difference there. Like, I was thinking also of this, of like Rick and Morty. Early Rick and Morty, like the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty, are so just, we took 2 concepts and mashed them together. And they don't do a whole lot of originality within that. The originality is just the 2 concepts that they put together.
Yeah.
But I think that is a good way of you putting it. It is the, like, if you're using it as a framing device or if you're using it as a parody device.
Right.
And yeah, I think this did a good job of using it as a framing device rather than a parody device, as opposed to some of the other episodes we've gotten, or just some of the other episodes of sitcoms in general.
Yeah.
And also, so okay, it was the same security guard from the Something You Can Do With Your Finger episode. I mean, I pretty much assumed by the end, but I should mention it for the people watching that. Yeah, it is that guy. I'm glad they brought him back. The pepper spray joke is always good. South Park is one of the most all cops are bastards shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, it was actually referencing the Grinch talking about the Who's, with Cartman talking about the amusement park and lines and everything.
Okay.
I can, now that they're saying that, I can definitely see the Grinch more than I can the Lorax. Also, so now we have Kenny's mom, Kenny's dad, Timmy, and Cartman, who are now aware that Kenny dies.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even think about counting it out.
Yeah, but when it was just his parents, sure, makes sense. Timmy, it's like, okay, wait, Timmy knows. Now it's like, oh, Cartman knows. Oh my god damn, the Job story is even more fucked up than I thought.
Oh?
So, like, wasn't entirely accurate.
Right.
It actually was Satan who took away all the things, not God. But God gives Job a new family.
Yeah, I said that during the discussion.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear you say that. My bad, I didn't hear you say that, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like, that is the redemptive part, is when God says, "Okay, you Satan, you can do whatever you want to Job because I have faith that he will have faith in me. Like you can't break his faith."
Yeah.
So he takes everything away. And then at the very end, God says, "Job, you have persevered, you have kept your faith in me. So as a reward, I'll return all the things that you have lost." But he doesn't return he doesn't revive anyone. He just gives him the exact number of wives, the number of children that he lost.
Well, they are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so fucked up.
I mean, yeah.
It is actually interesting that this whole time Cartman's been trying to get $10 million, and we have settled on he can get $1 million, and then he loses the $1 million. he settles and it wasn't even enough.
I wonder if it'll come up then again, because he still has not gotten $10 million.
Yeah, it's true. He's not gotten $10 million. That's so much money. But okay, that is all the notes we got for this episode. Really good one. We'll see you guys for the next episode. Until then, get the fuck out of here.